What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? Been having some difficulties. Hold on. Let me see. Might just have to do this shit in the dark. It don't matter. Y'all know what I look like. Shit. Salute Robert Stewart. Uh just want to do a quick breakdown. If it turns out quick, that'd be cool. If it go a little longer than expected, then that's cool too. Salute Brian David. Was good, bro. Salute Bam Bam Tweed. All right. So we saw the press conference today for Keith Thurman versus Manny Pacquiao, and you got to look at all the people that's going to be on the undercard. Uh, Turns out it's going to be a pretty solid card for the buck, and more than likely, if I don't find somewhere to watch it, like a bar or something, like some of my partners was talking about, I'm just going to end up buying the damn thing. Fuck it. Um, But on the undercard, you got your Dennis Ugas versus what is that dude name, man? Omar Figueroa. Now check it out. Figueroa. I remember when he was a prospect, right? And my first time getting a look at this dude was on Juan Diaz versus Paul Malignaggi undercard that was in Houston. I was covering that fight. It was my first time seeing Omar Figueroa. When you first look at him, he looked like almost like a little boy. You don't really see much to him. But when he get in that ring, you see he coming with all guns blazing, and that's pretty much how he's been in his career. I mean, he's undefeated. I think he's by what is he, like 28-0, 19 knockouts, something like that, and a former world champion at lightweight. But what bothers me about this fight for him is the fact that he has not been at welterweight really long. Now, don't get it twisted. He's strong, he's durable, and he gonna come to fight. He got a unique style of fighting, if you want to call it unique. Some most people would say awkward, but he don't always get hit flush, even though he's available for you to land your glove on him. Like when he tries to block, he'll turn his head and put his opposite hand up over here, opposite hand over there. He got a real sneaky overhand too. Um, he disguises it very well. He ducks his head down, look like he's about to go to the body, and all of a sudden you got hit with a smooth overhand. So he's a strong cat, and in the lighter divisions, man, he was accustomed to overpowering guys, and that's how he got his game plan going and was able to beat a lot of fighters coming up. Now, he wasn't beating top notch guys the whole time, but now since they really start stepping up the competition, he's at a point where it's either sink or swim. And the killing thing about that is a predicament that Ugas finds himself in. See, Ugas was the decorated amateur, comes out of that Cuban school of boxing. Anybody know anything about the amateur boxing system that Cuba produces? Year after year, some of the most top-notch fighters, and they have world recognition because of it. And Ugas was no exception. I mean, he was a bronze medalist in Beijing Olympics, several-time Cuban national boxing champion, and just like Gamboa or Lara, or I forget the name of the heavyweight, and also Rigondeaux and the rest of them talented Cuban fighters. They defected from Cuba to come to the States, hoping for fame and fortune. You know what I'm saying? All through the sport of boxing, which they dedicated their life to. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen because he's in his 30s. His professional career didn't start off with a bang like a lot of his Cuban compadres. He will run into a couple of brick walls on the way up. Now he's a big dude, you know what I'm saying? He's like what is he, 5'9", almost, yeah, 5'9", 5'10". Pretty tall for the division. I mean, that's pretty standard for a welterweight. Got long ass arms, and he definitely comes to fight. He not taking too many steps backwards. I think the thing that plagues him the most is the fact that he really don't have no thump on that punch. You know, but he's pretty crafty up in there. You know what I'm saying? He's a good counter puncher. He's a damn good body puncher, and he usually make guys think in the ring or think too much. Now, most recently, he had the fight with Sean Porter, a fight where, to me, he shut down everything Sean Porter tried. I mean, Ugas' jab was on, his right hand was on, his timing was on. I mean, he was hitting Sean Porter with a lot of body shots. He was timing him to the body, even he was countering to the body, and he kept edging the guy on to bring the fight to him, for which Sean Porter just stayed with the game plan, and which was to box from the outside, even though the dimensions that he had didn't favor him because Ugas was the taller, more rangier fighter. And in that fight, you got to see a lot of the skills that he possesses and a lot of grit that he has. Sean Porter's not the easiest guy to look good against. Sean Porter's also very strong and rugged and durable and, just really tough to deal with inside that ring. But I think Ugas handled it really well. You know what I'm saying? He handled it really well. I think he did enough to at least get a draw in that fight, but it didn't go that way. But leading up to that fight, I think he went uh, 8-0 going into the Sean Porter fight. So um, at the end of the day, he had a couple of hiccups. He lost to Amir Imam. I think most of his setbacks were at 140 pounds. And, he's already proven that he's much more durable and effective at 147, knocking off Jamal James, who's surging right now. And, you saw the outing against Sean Porter, and it's sink or swim now. You know what I'm saying? I believe this fight is a title eliminator with the winner guaranteed to get a shot at either not Keith Thurman. What the fuck? To get a shot at the winner of Sean Porter versus Errol Spence, which looks like it's gonna take place in LA later. Yo, if everybody talking about going to LA, I'm in that thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm in that thing. So that's gonna be in September. My birthday is in that month, earlier that month, so that'll give me an excuse to dip and head out to the West Coast and check out that good old scrap. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, man, Ugas, you know what I'm saying? He has a good jab. He is rather flat-footed. You don't hardly ever, if ever, see him on his toes. But that makes for a much better fight, though. You always hear about people saying, oh, this guy uh got on his bicycle, he had his track shoes on. The mere fact that Ugas can get his game plan going while standing in front of his opponent and still make the guy think or overthink in the ring is a testament to, the type of skills that he got. And like I said, the biggest knock on him is the fact that he not putting guys out of their misery. You know what I'm saying? And I don't expect him to do that against Omar Figueroa. But I do think that Omar Figueroa's game is ripe for the taking. I think because Figueroa is usually real soft around the midsection, that those body punches that Ugas usually sets guys up for, whether he's dictating with a jab and then going to the body in combination, or countering guys to the body in combination, or just countering with single shots to the body, openings will be there on Omar Figueroa. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like Ugas does not protect himself well. You know what I'm saying? He uses that peekaboo like defense, holding his hands in front of him. In fact, he's not the only one on his card who uses that defense. But at the end of the day, it's not very easy to hit this guy flush. I'm not saying it's the hardest thing to do, but the guy does protect himself fairly well. As you saw, Sean Porter did not have a whole lot of success landing on him. You know, he made Sean Porter miss a lot of those shots and big shots. You know, when Sean Porter would start swinging for the fences. So in this particular fight, man, I'm gonna have to more than likely favor the guy who's been accustomed to fighting at the weight, and that would be Ugas, the Cuban. Now, normally I probably wouldn't go that route because I know Figueroa come to do it, and I don't expect nothing less right now. But I just have a hard time thinking that a guy who spent majority of his career at 135 pounds is going to be basically not really campaign at 140 pounds. And now this is what his third fight at welterweight, and he's supposed to have this power that's going to break this particular guy who's really trying to find himself among the top notch in the division. I think this may be the fight where Figueroa catches that first L. But you know my motto, man. The ring sorts out the facts, so we gonna see what's gonna happen on that. But it's a good fight, man. I think it'll be entertaining. You know, Figueroa don't know how to take a step back, and by the looks of it, Ugas don't either. So what does that make for an explosion on fight night? So may the best man win. But also on the undercard, you got Sergey Lipinets, the Russian, against John Molina, another guy who made for TV. John Molina, it's only one reason why he's on this card is because he don't disappoint when in terms of action in his fights. He always comes to fight. He give it his all, and it makes for an entertaining scrap whether he win or lose. And he's also in the welterweight division, a guy who spent majority of his time around 140, 135. And no, all bullshit aside, John Molina is a gatekeeper. I mean, he's the type of guy that he's tough. Don't get it twisted. He's tough and he got a decent punch. And he could take a pretty good punch. You know what I'm saying? But if you got a fighter, if you're a promoter and you got a fighter and you want to see if your fighter has what it takes to get to the next level, John Molina is the type of guy that you'll put him in the ring with to see what he got. And if he can't beat John Molina, he ain't gonna be shit. And that's just the bottom line. And I can name names. I mean, I used to think Hank Lundy had what it took to possibly hang amongst the top guys in a division. Maybe not be world champion, this, that, and the third, but at least one of the top five in in as a contender in whatever weight division he decided to campaign, which at that time was 130. I'm sorry, 135, 140. He was going back and forth. But that fight with John Molina let me know, and that wasn't the only fight. But at least he did get him a shot at Terrence Crawford, to which he would get knocked the hell out. But it just lets you know if you can't beat John Molina, you don't belong amongst the top contenders in the division. And to me, this is not necessarily a showcase fight for Lipinets. This is it's going to be an entertaining fight because Lipinets come to fight, but it's really going to show us what he about because the first time he stepped up to the elite level of boxing, he was beat down by Mikey Garcia. But that's not really saying much though. Mikey beat a lot of dudes up. Mikey, like four division world champion, pound for a legit pound for pound type of guy. So it's no shame to lose to Mikey Garcia. Hell, Broner lost to Mikey Garcia and ended up on a pay-per-view. So Lipinets, he's on the pay-per-view, but he's on the undercard. But like I said before, he's gonna be in there with somebody who's gonna be willing to give him a good test, and we're gonna see what's gonna happen. I got a lot of respect for Lipinets, especially when I looked at his last fight against Lamont Peterson. He would be the one to send Lamont Peterson into retirement. And he took a lot of body shots from Lamont Peterson. Lamont Peterson did not let him make it when it came to throwing those body shots. And it really showed me what type of heart this guy had because Damn, I mean, I think any other regular fighter probably would have crumbled with the amount of shots that he took to the midsection. But Lipinets is a tough guy. He got a decent punch. He's the other guy I said before. Well, fights out of the peekaboo defense. He protects himself with the high guard. He's not the fastest guy. He's not the most craftiest guy. He don't even have the best boxing skills. But what he does have, he uses it to his benefit. Brian Davis said the Russian that almost got knocked out by Tim. Oh, almost knocked out Bradley. No, I think that's Provodnikov. I think Provodnikov is the guy that you talking about, bro. And yeah, that was a banger too. And hell, I wouldn't mind seeing Lipinets against Provodnikov in the future. You know, promoters make that happen. You know what I'm saying? But Lipinets got a real big. He got a decent punch, man. He has like what 11 knockouts in 15 fights, something around there. I don't have my stats in front of me or anything like that, but I know he's a decent puncher, and it seems like his power has gone up to the next division as he would knock out. Well, he would stop Lamont Peterson and send him into retirement, and that's pretty much how he got this opportunity. And like I said before, he's not the best boxer you ever seen, but what he has, he uses to his benefit. He can set you up for a big shot, get you to drop your hands because you think he's going to the body, and then boom, he gonna catch you right up in your shit. And I think those opportunities would be available for John Molina because he don't have the best defense. But at the same time, John Molina got a little power to him too. I mean, ain't like he can't punch. You know, he got a little thump on him. You know, and he's taller. He got more range to him. And if he would just throw out a jab every now and then and commit to it, he can make it more difficult than it should be. But I think Lipinets has a little bit more of an upside. I think the what we know about John Molina is all we gonna get out of John Molina. I don't see John Molina making a run for another title shot. I mean, he's had several opportunities to win the big one, and it seemed like he come up short every time. Even if he give a guy a good fight, you know what I'm saying? Like when he fought Matisse, that was a real good fight. But still a fight. If I'm not mistaken, he lost that fight, right? I think if I recall, I think he still lost that fight. And that's back when everybody was like high on Matisse. Like, oh, Matisse got this knock you dead power, this, that, and the third. And outside of Danny Garcia proving that to be a myth, John Molina also proved that he can hang in there with them. But obviously Matisse could punch, but he wasn't what they said he was. He wasn't what they said he was. Hell, I remember they were saying Mayweather was ducking him. But anyway, man, I got Lipinets catching John Molina, setting him up for a big right hand. And I think this fight doesn't go the distance, man. This may be one of the knockouts of the night. Um, of course, it's hard to predict a knockout because you never know how these fighters are going to behave when the lights are on. But I think we are in for another action-packed fight. So um, let's get it. What else is on there? You got a bantamweight fight. This is probably one of the fights I'm interested in. You got Payano, who fought Inoue. He got stretched out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? But it could happen. You know what I'm saying? It could happen to anyone. But he did log a win right after, and it's not like the guy can't fight. I mean, he's knocked off a couple of undefeated guys. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, he beat Anselmo Moreno, who was a pretty good champion. Um, if I'm not mistaken, he fought Rashi Warren and took the title off of him, and then lost the title to him. So he's a traveler. He's been around. He's fought some good guys. He's beat some good guys, and now he's up against another possible rising star in the bantamweight division, which is kind of hard to say that in the same sentence, star in bantamweights. most of the stars don't really come out of the weights south of featherweight. But this is a good fight. You know, Luis Neri is a Mexican fighter. He's undefeated. He's got good power. He's a southpaw. Actually, both of them are southpaws. And shoot, both of them, you know, come to do it. I know Neri comes to do it. He's coming after you. And one thing he got is a really good right hand, and you ain't got to ask that mug. You ain't got to ask him to throw it because he's looking for the target. And once he finds it, it's bombs away. Now he can sit back and try to box with you and set you up for big shots, or he can go balls to the wall and bang out. Takes a real decent punch too. Neri, Netty. You know, if you say it with the Spanish pronunciation, Netty. Um, and he move his head most of the time. But like I said, he takes a real decent shot because I saw him take a hook from Yamanaka in the first fight. Yamanaka's a southpaw too. He hit this dude with a hook. Man, any other fighter would have went down. And he stood right back up, man, and came with that heat. So I really like this guy, man. He's of Afro Mexican descent. So he got the blood of the Negro running through his veins and Mexican. So he's an Afro Mexican. He's an Afro Mexican descent. And you know, this is his opportunity. Is he's on a pay-per-view card. It's going to be a lot of viewership, and it can only bring more opportunities if more eyes see him, especially if he executes in a way that him and his team game plan. If I know anything about the way, if I'm judging by the way he fights, I know they're going to look to take full advantage of the fact that he's been stopped not too long ago and try to line him up for one of those big right hands. But these are bantamweights, and we already know anybody south of the featherweight division are going to be letting their motherfucking hands go. So this probably be one of the first of the televised undercard of the night, and I can't wait to see it, man. I really like this guy. Like I said, you can probably YouTube some of his fights, like the fights with Yamanaka. I know you can at least get one of them. That was an entertaining fight, and it wasn't one sided. You know, it wasn't one sided. It was a great fight, but you know, when you got two good fighters in the ring, somebody got to take that L. Yamanaka being a former world champion himself, you know, it was two guys in the ring, and you know they had to do it. In fact, I think that's how, if I'm not mistaken, that's how he lifted that title. He took it off Yamanaka, but he would lose it in the rematch on the scales. So, um, all in all, man, um, I think Neri is going to continue on his rapid ascent to the top, and I'm ready to see him after this particular fight. If he's to be victorious, I would like to see him against Inoue. Inoue got all the hype on him, you know, and I understand why. Within 18 fights, he got all these knockouts. He's a three division world champion, and he's a unified champion right now at the weight. And by the looks of things, nobody can stand in there with him, man. But he's a power puncher, and he's a power puncher too. Let's put these two bantamweights together and make something happen with it. Pending this victory this weekend. But yeah, I like all three of these fights. Um, on the undercard, am I missing any fights? It's only three, right? Four fights in all. Well, you know, on the fight card, it's fights all damn day long. But as far as a televised portion, I think it's just these four. So I got Ugas, I got Lipinets, and I got Neri. But I can be wrong. I can be wrong on the Ugas and the Lipinets fight. But I doubt it. You know what I'm saying? I doubt it on that. Brian Davis said Omar is naturally big though. Hell yeah, you're big old. He big and durable, man. He big and durable. That's one thing he is, and he got a unique style of defense, man. I never seen it before, but it works for him. And so he not always taking flush shots that are thrown of it, and he definitely not getting out of the way of those punches either. He coming forward with it. but he letting his hands go, and he got a sneaky way of throwing that overhand. And Ugas stands upright a lot, especially when he's trying to prove he got more machismo than his opponent. He can't afford to play that type of game against Figueroa. That's how Figueroa got to where he is. He will outman you, in other words, because you look at him, he don't look like much. He look like a little boy, but that's the wrong mindset to have going into the fight. And I hope that I hope Ugas would he has to know that going in. You know what I'm saying? Go in there, do what you got to do, and take care of business. And if he don't come correct, then Figueroa gonna beat the brakes off it, and that's gonna send him right back down. Uh, Send him right back down the rankings, and you never know, he may not get another opportunity. Um, but it'll be a lot of opportunities for Figueroa. Even if he lose, it'll only be his first loss. So, shoot, yeah, the car is stacked. He fight like her. You must be talking about Figueroa. Face first defense. I think he got a little bit better defense than Hurd, man. And it is what it is. Like I was saying on Trail Boxing Talk earlier today, that Jared Hurd can use a peekaboo defense, man. That would help him a lot. And Black Fight fans said it ain't gonna help him against J Rock. Well, that's true. That may not help him against Rock. But anything is better than taking flush shots to the dome. Your career ain't gonna last too long if you keep getting popped in your head like that. You know what I'm saying? You already got to get hit in the head when you sparring. So anybody taking shots like that all the time, man, ain't gonna have a long shelf life in this game. And he gonna have to do something. So he switched trainers. We'll see what happens moving forward. Whenever you get a fight signed, we'll chop it up and talk about what we can expect to see, and then analyze it afterwards. And just like this fight, man, just like these fights, this undercard, I'll come back on once the fight is over, probably the following day if I'm not too drunk, and try to make some sense out of whatever we see on the night of the fight. Um, will Keith Thurman be great and knock off Manny Pacquiao? That remains the question on everybody's mind. Keith Thurman did what he got to do to sell the fight. Boy was talking real greasy. Got to talking about the man religion. Talk about crucifying him. Talking about I can't wait to punch you in your mouth. So he's saying he talking right. He sound like Keith Thurman. He sound like the Keith Thurman I remember. So we'll have to see if he transformed into the Keith one-time Thurman that we all knew prior to him going overseas and snatching up one of them exotics and wifing her. If he's still the same guy, I expect an explosion. He said I like Thurman. I think Thurman got it too, man. I think he got it too. I think the opportunities to hit Manny will be there when you analyze the way Keith fight. He always on the move. He always coming in with hooks, and movement befuddles Manny. I think a lot of people are just completely overlooking that. If you were in the old school, uh, we used to have debates about how Manny Pacquiao would only fight the guys who would come after him. Now over time, it changed. He's fought just about every style, but still in soul, he has problems with guys that move. And we'll just have to see what happens on that, man. But I'm gonna go and wrap this up. I'm glad I was able to go ahead and get it in. And y'all be easy, man. I'll catch up with y'all for the next edition of Trail Boxing Talk tomorrow in Fanon. And we'll pop it like that, man. I appreciate y'all for stopping in, checking your boy out. Anybody on archive, if you hear this for the first time, hit that like button. Anybody in here, hit that like button, hit the notification bell. I'm gonna try to be a whole lot more active, but that notification bell lets you know whenever I drop something new. And if you find the notification bell annoying And I don't do no videos. Well, hell, you ain't got to worry about it being annoying. I ain't doing no damn video. But if you were to check my shit out, just go ahead and hit the notification bell, and you'll be able to check my stuff out as soon as it drop. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. If you disagree, agree, let me know who you rocking with. We'll chop it up again, man. It's your boy Ash, man. I'm out.